100% from both parties. So whether you are in a heterosexual relationship or same-sex relationship, I just feel like it's only fair that both parties put in their 100%. See, back then, like during my early marital years, I was always told, the woman put in 50 and the man put in 50. But to me, it's like it's still not an equal balance. And I have been through a lot of good and bad moments, and I'm not going to go into a lot of details on that because, I've talked about it in many of my other previous videos. But this is kind of what I am understanding now that I'm on a different spectrum of life and, going through a spiritual journey. I see things totally different. It's going to require both to put in the legwork. And it may look different for the woman and for the man, but it is important that everybody have an understanding and they're consistent with the routine in order for things to operate and go smoothly in the relationship. So this is how I see it. Happiness is important, but it is your duty as a woman or whoever, whatever you decide to claim, whatever gender, for you to find happiness within yourself, because there are going to be days when you really want to just cuss everybody out and crash out. The thing is, I think having emotional intelligence is the key. And if you don't know how to have that, if you wasn't raised with that, you might want to go ahead and get to studying if you plan on having a partner in your life. And so the guy also asked the women on the platform, when they are at work, and if they're unhappy, do they stop fulfilling their duties? And they were like, nah, we know we got to do our job. And see, that's where people be fucking up at, because they put more emphasis and effort in trying to please a stranger or a company versus trying to really meet the person they're with halfway. I have been on both ends. So this is why I feel like I'm qualified to speak on this. I have put in so much work into my job because the type of job I have is not a simple 9 to 5. It's like they expect teachers to be at the school before the students get there. Then once the students leave, we sometimes have to meet up. Sometimes we have to stay behind after school and plan. And then a lot of times, depending on what the month is, we have to really prepare to get grades in. And we got to bring that shit home and make sure that it is right. I don't know how good. I don't know if y'all caught that. It's like my peripheral view be on it. I didn't even know somebody was walking up. But anyway, I'm very cautious because my daughter was actually sitting in the car at a park. I don't know if I mentioned this in one of my videos, but she was just sitting there and a guy came up to her car, tapping on her window, and he had a knife in his hand trying to force her to open up her car door. And so she took off with his arm all in the door, and he had to hurry up and snatch his arm out, and she ended up calling the police. But I didn't mean to get off topic. That was one of those ADHD moments. But let me get back on topic. So it's like I put in a lot of work in my job, trying to grade papers, trying to do this and that. And I did lose sight of, being there to comfort my husband's stressors. Like whenever he's trying to express to me that he's getting tired of the people disrespecting him on the job and they don't want to, listen to him because he's like the only black man on the job. And there are moments when I had to counsel him, but then there's times when I wasn't available because I was busy pouring into my work, which kind of made it even harder for our communication because he kind of resented the fact that I had to put in a lot of time in my work, bringing it home instead of putting my time into him. And so it was almost like he felt like he couldn't talk to me, and he started venting to women that he would be working around. And I guess they felt like, oh, well, since you got a woman at home and she want to listen to you, that was their doorway to kind of squeeze in to put spells on him and he already had his weaknesses, and that caused him to go ahead and connect better with them and then lose, the bond between me and him. So that is not a good idea for you to say, okay, I'm going to commit to my duties at work, but I'm going to slack up with my partnership duties or girlfriend duties or boyfriend duties at home. Also, this is why I feel like it's important to make sure there's, an equal balance. There are moments when I have been bitchy. There are moments when I go through my PMS phases, and I had to, deal with my own issues by making sure I either use a heat pad, or I'll eat some pickles, or I'll try to, eat chocolate, or go for a walk, or do whatever I can to comfort myself. But it doesn't mean that because I'm uncomfortable, which is meaning I'm unhappy, I got to go and be a bitch toward everybody in my household. So it's like, you just got to kind of really think that through, because every day we're not going to be comfortable. We're not going to be happy. There's moments when we're going to run into some assholes on our jobs, and we cannot just come home and just shut down and lack completing our duties because we're in our feelings. Another thing I want to point out is it's not going to work out well if the man decides to do the same thing. If a man is stressed out on his job and he frustrated and he comes home and he's bitching, because I've been through that too, bitching and grumpy, or he'll go into silent mode where he don't want to talk, that can be a problem too. And then if I'm expecting him as a woman to provide, to protect, and to please my pussy, I'm going to have to still meet my duties as his partner. Because there's moments when I still got to get up and cook, I still got to clean, and I still got to, give him some goods and fuck him to sleep if I have to, depending on what phase and stage I'm in. The thing is, we have to learn how to balance out having, love for ourselves, knowing how to not allow people into our energy to just mess up and dictate our day. Because I'm going to tell you, a lot of people don't want to work. A lot of people don't want to work. They don't want to deal with anybody. They just want to be sitting on a bag and free to make choices. But the government ain't going to allow that. So when you finna go into a building around either a lot of women, especially bitchy women, or women that are hidden racist and or showing favoritism, you got to kind of protect your energy. You got to protect yourself. And that goes for men too. If you finna go on a job site where there's a lot of masculines around trying to have, this big and bad type of who got the biggest cock type of energy, if you got somebody acting like that, because it seems like when people move up the ladder, they forget that they started at the bottom. And then when they get up to the top, they want to, act like assholes. So men got to know how to protect themselves as well, and know how not to bring that energy home or affect them enough to where they don't know how to be healthy with their partner. Now, there are moments when there are going to be disagreements. Whether we're disagreeing about money, whether we're disagreeing about lending out money to family members that want to be lazy and use just take advantage. There are going to be moments where we have disagreements about the temptation that's out here in public places. You got to have a clear understanding on the do's and don'ts in your relationship. If you do not have respect for your partner or empathize for your partner and their feelings, then it is not going to work. It is not going to work. And then we're going to be walking around single and complaining and feeling lonely. And then sometimes we get so lonely, then we go and be desperate and run into some real low vibrational guys or women. So it's important that when you go into a relationship, you have to know how to have emotional intelligence. You have to understand there's moments when you're not going to be happy. Even with your children, when you're unhappy, you still got to fulfill parental duties. You still got to make sure you show up. Okay? Or you're gonna end up dealing with a runaway. You definitely don't want to do that. So, as a woman that have made many mistakes, that have learned from other people's relationships, the good and the bad and all of it, I have been raised with narcissistic people, parents, family members, married to one. I have dealt with it all. So I've seen the challenges of that. So the thing is, if you know that you're not going to be happy with somebody and it's consistent where you always having problems with that person, then you got to just take your losses. It is a karmic relationship and you just got to keep it moving. And that's what I'm saying. You got to, if a man, the three no-nos is if a man is cheating because he's risking his health and then possibly bringing whatever he's sleeping with into your bedroom. If a man is being abusive, that's a big no-no. because then if you have children, they're teaching your children that's how you handle conflict. That is a no-no. If he ain't man enough to go beat a police officer ass or go and stand up and beat on and hit a judge, then he is a punk ass and need to be moved out the way. And then lying, keeping secrets, because that's one thing I noticed in a lot of relationships. There's a lot of men that really have attraction for other women, like the opposite race or transgender men to women. They have that as some kind of kinky fantasy, and they will try to play it off because they're getting a benefit from you. They see you as, okay, I can get a nice comfortable home and a nice cooked meal from you, but when I want to be satisfied and fulfill my fantasy, then I'll go out and try to sneak behind your back. And so to me, lying kind of goes hand in hand with cheating. And so you can't build a good partnership or bond with somebody that isn't going to be honest with you. I told you, that's the whole reason why I never started my family childcare business, because I couldn't even trust my partner. I felt like, well, damn, if you go to work and I'm trusting you to go to work and make money to provide for us, and you out there, sleeping with your work wife, then I can't even trust you with the women that's in my business. I can't trust. So if you can't trust somebody, you cannot build with them, and you are wasting your time. So I know it kind of touched on a lot of different topics, but just understand, people, if you don't want to have a stressful life and a stressful relationship, you really got to think these things through. Have these discussions. Don't wait till the last minute to have this. Don't have this discussion after you done had 3 children. You definitely don't want to do that. And you have to know how to pamper yourself and do things to make you healthy minded, so you don't be walking around being bitchy and then running your man to the arms of somebody else. So, and then also, it doesn't mean that gives men a pass to do that, because there are some hypersexual men out there that just want to run to everybody who they get attention from. So you just got to learn how to have discernment, learn patience, and effective communication. So till next time, peace out.